NAFTA is valid. Look, that's why he's winning in Michigan. Why do you think the Rust Belt states, where outsourcing is a real problem for America? I think he's going to reform the corporate tax code, which you talked about. That's a policy. He has a tax plan. He talked about that. So, and I don't think he's going to have his finger on the trigger. Well, we know he's not going to go into wars, right? You should like that. Democrats should like that. He doesn't want to send troops into harm's way. He wants to pull back. He wants to actually make our partners pay their dues in, like, actually show up. You know, so if you're a member of NATO, don't put it all on the U.S.
But Michigan's not voting for his NATO stance.
So, well, no, they're voting on trade and jobs. You asked me about policy.
Yeah,
I thought he said with ISIS he'd bomb the crap out of them. That's not a Pacific view of it.
Bombing, I think, we talked about with Syria, which has gained strength ISIS has gained strength in Syria and Iraq, right? Because of our president, even Democrats now have said, the Washington Post did excoriating op-eds over the summer about Obama's inaction in Syria. That is what's happening is awful. He did say he would bomb some sites in Syria. We don't even have a no-fly zone. What is Hillary Clinton going to do? What did she do? She wouldn't come out. She said, well, I kind of supported a no-fly zone. You did? As Secretary of State, she flew all over the place. I don't know what she did. She got us in these messes, and she's going to continue the Obama policy.
My question is,
so
is Donald Trump going to do what he said? Is he going to do all the things he said he was going to do?
I know Barack Obama didn't do all the things he said he was going to do, and like you guys said at the beginning of the show, no president actually fulfilled all
he's
their
not
promises.
going to do what he said.
So I know I disagree with that, but I don't work for the Donald Trump campaign, so I think we should be asking him. I think
we have some more results that we need to get to with Tom Harrington. Tom, what have you got?
Susan, another declaration from our desk, and it's Virginia for Hillary Clinton. 13 electoral college votes. That puts her with 122, still lagging behind Donald Trump at 164. A much-needed win for Mrs. Clinton because it's been a rough couple of hours in many of these states. Again, a few still too close to call. Florida, we still don't have a final result on Florida. North Carolina, we still don't have a result on. And Michigan, again, holding out on that. A couple of other points to mention, though, Susan, if I could. We talked earlier about the financial reactions around the world. The Dow Jones Futures is off 650 points right now. Just to compare, after 9/11, it was down 540. So the reaction in the markets to what's going on tonight is quite dramatic.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, I wanted to, Ted, pick up on some of the things Crystal was saying. What should I do?
So Donald Trump's not going to do everything he promised, simply because he cannot. Right? He needs a cooperative Congress, and I don't think Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell are 100% on board with all the promises Donald Trump has made to the country. The folks in the Rust Belt are not looking to Donald Trump because of his stance on all the things that he sort of talks around. He's making an emotional appeal. This is the Make America Great Again. That whole slogan is harkening back to a time where white middle-class men could go to work and support a family and provide futures for their children. That America doesn't exist for them anymore. The jobs that they used to do that are gone. They're not coming back. The industrial age is over with. And so if Donald Trump wants to help these areas increase their employment, the information age, retraining, new technologies, advanced manufacturing, that's where it's at. And it's not bringing back closed car factories or steel mills that have gone overseas. So this notion that the canceling out of trade deals will bring all the jobs back that your grandfathers held, and now you can have America that they had in the 1950s, that's pie in the sky. That's more hope and changing stuff than Obama pitched in 2008. The personal appeal he's making it addresses some of the anxiety we have, economic and racial. But the likelihood of him pulling any of this off in the first year or a presidency writ large for 4 years is slim to none. And he will be put in check, just as the founders wanted, by Congress and by the judicial system to ensure he can't run roughshod over the government and execute anything he wishes to see happen. This is not a company. He's not going to be the CEO of America. He can't put out edicts and expect the country to say, just
But you pointed out that Obama did that with the executive order, with the immigration, with DACA, the Dreamers. How many executive orders do we have?
Yeah, but he did not replace legislation. So what the president is able to do is work on the fringes, on the margins of the policy.
Have a majority in Congress, right?
He will, but he will not have a cooperative Congress.
Oh, I predict that he will. And I predict they will give him a Supreme Court nominee.
Shape Donald Trump's policy. policy agenda.
A Congress that is going to be Republican
Absolutely,
dominated?
absolutely. So Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan and Mike Pence will effectively
That's not
govern the
going to
country.
happen. Paul Ryan would have said he would work with Donald Trump.
with
And
him.
Donald
they're
Trump didn't
aligned.
want Paul Ryan.
Well, true, he didn't.
No, and Congress is not
Remember,
going to
Ryan
give $50
didn't
billion
want to
to go
endorse
to
Donald
wall
Trump.
on the border with Mexico.
Ryan might lose his speakership right now. So,
If I
like the
could
Freedom Caucus.
just take this back a step for a second, Ted, and get your thoughts on the numbers as you've seen them come in tonight. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so turnout, we knew this was going to be a game of turnout, and the Democrats felt like high turnout would break in their favor. What Florida showed us, there were 1 million more people voting in Florida this year than in 2012. Florida is going to go for Donald Trump tonight. So there was high turnout. The expectation was high turnout favored minorities coming out to vote and young people. What we found is that it is that silent majority of Trump supporters that have increased the turnout, and now things in Ohio, Michigan, etc. look like it's falling in his favor. Certainly did in Florida.
Well, we've got more on Florida right now because, as we've been saying, Florida is neck and neck tonight. The biggest battleground, swing state battleground in the United States. If Donald Trump, it has been said throughout this campaign, didn't win in Florida, he would have no chance at making it to the White House. So we're going to go to Florida now and talk to Franco Calise. He has been working furiously to give Hillary Clinton's campaign an edge. He and other canvassers have knocked on more than 1 million doors in Florida, targeting
Donald Trump as close as he is and ahead, and they don't really think, a lot of them didn't really expect this to happen. And of course you have a lot of people here from around the world, so they're also trying to figure out what this all means for them. And so a lot of interesting conversations taking place right now here in Times Square.
You're in the middle of the biggest Democratic city in the world, and people are silent. They are. Are you saying that they're kind of stunned by what they see and hear?
Stunned is the best word to use, because I think people were expecting to see a clear result by this point for Hillary Clinton, and we saw the numbers across the state for Hillary Clinton in New York. But when you think about New York, it's also somewhat similar to Toronto in terms of the downtown being very Democratic. When you go to the outer boroughs, there is quite a lot of Republican support and support for Donald Trump, and so we have seen people walking through here with Make America Great hats. There was a group of about 4 people walking through with signs that said Blacks for Trump. But they've definitely been in the minority here, and so trying to find a Trump supporter is not easy to do. And so that's why you have the silence, that's why you have a lot of the puzzled faces as they watch the results play out on the screen ahead of them.
That's amazing. Stephen, thanks very much indeed. We'll get back to you.
Let's skip over to Cincinnati now, where Renee Filipponi is on the scene for us. So, Renee, what's the reaction there to Ohio going for Donald Trump?
Yeah, it's a real disappointment from the Democrats in this room today who are watching this election, really hoping that Hillary Clinton would be able to hold on to Ohio. But what's more stunning is just how big the gap looks right now between the two. Going into this election, it was just a couple poll points apart, but you're looking at 11 points right now. And I spoke with the head of the party, the Democratic Party here in Hamilton County, and he said the real problem and where they're seeing the real losses comes from the north and the northeast of the country, of the state. And these are areas where the party can usually count on those blue-collar union workers, and they didn't this time. Those people, bought into and felt that they could get behind Donald Trump's message, and they showed up to the polls and voted for Trump. And one interesting county I'll point out is Trumbull County. Now, that is right on the northeast. Now, Obama in 2012 won this county by more than 20 points. And right now, in that county, I'm going to take one more look. Right now, Trump is ahead by 5 points. So that is a huge difference in a country that was, in a county that was very safe for the Democratic Party. Republicans who are in this room I've been chatting with, very pleased with the performance. Said, you saw that enthusiasm at the rallies, and you know what, people didn't give it enough credit. They kept saying that Clinton had this great ground game, that she was going to get all these people out to the polls, but that really doesn't look to be like what happened here tonight.
Yeah, one of the conventions of American politics is that you can't become the president of the United States if you don't win Ohio, and
Absolutely.
But can I just, Renee, it's Ed Ryan. I just want to ask you something. How is it that in a unionized state, a blue-collar state, the support is going to a man who believes in right-to-work states? He wants to roll back minimum wages. He's anti-union. How are they voting for Donald Trump?
Well, if you ask the Democratic leaders here, they're saying, people weren't really looking behind all the details of some of those messages. They were hearing that we're going to bring jobs back, we're going to bring the manufacturing back, we're going to get you to work, and that a lot of the support, particularly, was this sort of blue-collar, white, older men in these sorts of areas is where they're thinking when they start to sort of crunch down and crank the numbers is where they're going to see, that support coming from. That message, when I was out there,